question to do it. Welcome to another tutorial. In this video, we're going to have very commonly questions that are asked in Igcse Edexcel Math Paper 1H, and so that we can be able to see how do you approach different questions. For instance, here you can see the question that we are having at this point is a question to do with finding mean. So one of the things that a candidate was supposed to do at this point was to find the midpoint. So we are going to find the value of x. So that is the first thing that we are going to do here, to find the value of x. And how do you find the value of x? We are going to add 0 plus 5 divided by 2, that's going to be 2.5. We're going to add 5 plus 10 divided by 2, that's going to give us 7.5. 10 plus 15 divided by 2, that's going to be 12.5. 15 plus 20 divided by 2, that is going to be basically 35, and that's going to be 17.5. And 20 plus 25, that is going to translate to what? That's going to give us 45, and 45 divided by 2, that will be 22.5. So those are the values of x. So we can say this is our x. And then the next thing that we shall have is to get I need also to get the values of x times f. So I'll have to create another table here so that now I can have fx at this point. So meaning that f times x. So that's going to be 2.5 times 8. That's going to give us 2.5 times 8 is going to give us 20. This is this is going to give us 2.5 times 8 is going to give us 20. And then 7.5 times 7 is going to give us 52.5. And then 12.5 times 3 is giving us 37.5. 17.5 times 10, that's going to give us 175. And 22.5 times 2, that is going to give us 45. So once you have gotten the product of frequency times the midpoint, we're going now to work out, because the question is asking us to find the mean. So we're going to say now mean is going to be fx summation of fx divided by summation of f. And this is going to be, we need to find the summation of fx here. So we are going to say that is 20 plus 52.5 plus 37.5 plus 175 plus 45, that translates to 330. And this is going to be summation of frequency. So we need also to find the total f. For this case, this is going to be 15 plus 3, that is going to be 18, plus this is going to be 20 plus 10, that's going to be 30. Sorry, I think I need to confirm if I've added properly. This is going to be 8, 15, 18, 28, and then with this we get our total 30. So that's going to be 330. We divide by 30, and of course that's going to be 11. So the mean in this case is going to be 11. That's basically what you are supposed to do whenever you are asked to work out mean like that. Question 2, by rounding each number to one significant figure, work out an estimate. So to one significant figure, this is going to be 2 squared times 60 divided by square root of 9, and that is going to be what? This 2 squared is going to give us 4 times 60, and the square root of 9 is going to be 3. Of course, this will go 1, and then we are going to have this is going to be 20, and then the final answer is going to be 80. So that's exactly what you're supposed to do. When you are told to round to a given number of significant figures, stick to that, so that you can be able to give your answer in the expected format. And guys, if you are new to ProfLearn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to work any tutorial, you'll be notified. As we are going to proceed, we're going to see how do you work out questions like this. How do you work a question that you are given here? Now you can see in this question you are told that using a pair of compass only, construct a bisector. So first you're going to you put your pointer at point B, you make an arc without changing the radius. Also from point B you make another arc. Then you transfer now your pointer to this point. I'm just explaining what you do. First you use point B, you make these two arcs here and this one. And then once you've made those arcs, you can now change the radius of your pair of compass, and then you stand at this point to make an arc, and also you move, and at that particular point also you make another arc. Then now after you've done that, you are going to join a straight line like that, and that's going to be what? A bisector, meaning that this is going to bisect these two into two equal angles. So that is the angle bisector. So you need to understand how to bisect angles, and also how to construct some perpendicular lines from a given point. And question number 4, you may be given questions that really looks like this. And you can see here, you are told that E, F, G represent integers such that E, F, G, 12, 17, then we are supposed to work out the value of E and F and G, but we are told the range is 15. So meaning that if you take the smallest number and the largest number, if we subtract them, we are going to get what? We are going to get 15. So meaning that particular point, we can be able to say range is equals to largest number minus smallest. So that's something that you really need to put in mind, because you may be expected to work out question to do with range like that. So here we are supposed to say the range is actually 15, and then we are supposed to write the largest number is 17, then we subtract the smallest number, which is E. So meaning that what is going to be our E? Our E is going to be basically 17 minus 15, and that's going to be 2, as you can see here. Then we can also say we are told that the median is 8.5. So which means that if this is 2 here, and then you want to get the median, isn't it? So if you want to find the median, then it means the first number will cancel with the last number. This one will cancel with the second last, and then you're going to remain with 2 numbers at the middle here, so that you can be able to use them to work out what? To work out the median. So that means if you're having 2 numbers at the middle, then for you to find the median, so we're going to say median is going to be basically 7 plus G over 2, and that's going to be what? That's going to be 8.5 is equals to 7 plus G over 2. So we can decide and multiply to both sides so that we can get rid of these 2 here, and then we end up having this is 17 is equals to 7 plus g. So g is going to translate to be what? G is going to translate to be 17 minus 7, and that's going to be 10. So our g is basically 10 there. And we are told that the mean is 9. So you need to remember that for you to work out the mean, you are going to add all the values that we are having here. We have said that you'll say mean is equals to sum of all the numbers. So this is 2. Have we gotten, okay, we have gotten 2 plus 7, that's 9, plus 10, that's 19. 19, okay, let me say this. 2 plus 7 plus this one here is 10 plus 12 plus 17. When you add these numbers, you get 48. So we're going to say 48 plus f. Divide by the total numbers we should be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 6. Then, but our mean we are told is 9. So we're going to say 9 is equals to 48 plus f over 6. So 6 times no, I think I need to check what might have happened here. I have to check what might have happened. I need to check what might have happened, because the way things are looking, it will end in tears. So let me check. We are told that the mean is 9. So I'm going to say 9 is equals to, if we say 2 plus 7, then we add 10 plus 12 plus 17, that translates to 48. 48 plus f divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so seems something's not adding up properly. I need to check there so that I can be able to see where the mistake will be. All right, so I believe everything's okay. Then we're going to have here 6. Then we're going to say now 9 times 6, which is going to be 54. So what does that become? So we shall have here 54 is equals to 48 plus f. So which means that for us to find f, it will be, this implies that our f is equals to 54 minus 48, which is going to be 6. So we can go here and say our E was 2. Our E was 2. Our F is 6. And our G is our beautiful, our G was our beautiful 10. So that was what we are supposed to have at that point. So basically that's what you're supposed to in such kind of a scenario. Then if you are also given a question like this, you're told that show that this is this. So the first thing we are going to see that for you to solve this, we shall add the all numbers. So that will be 3 plus 1 plus 5 over 7 plus 2 over 3. So this is going to be 4 plus what is the LCM of these two numbers here? The LCM is 21. 7 goes 3 times. 7 times 3, that's going to be 15. And 3 goes to 21. 7 times 2, that's going times 2, that's going to be 14. So meaning that we are going to have 4 plus 29 over 21. So you can see here 21 can go to 29 one times, so that we can have 4 plus 1 and 7 over 21. Yeah, because no, that's not 7 but 8 over 21, 8 over 21. And then we can be able to add now 4 plus 1, that's going to be 5, 8 over 21. And that is now dealing with fractions and how you're supposed to add such numbers. You can also be given a question to do with ratios, fractions and percentages. But now in this case, we are given Ellie pattern share 275 in a ratio of 2. That's so a ratio of 2:3. So meaning that Ellie is going to get which amount? Ellie is going to get 275 times 2 over 5. You can be able to express this as the total ratio 2 over 5. And if you work out 275 times 2 over 5, that's going to translate to 110. And if we are to work out Peter's proportion, is going to be P is equals to 275 times 3 over 5. And if you work it out, it will be 275 times 3 over 5, which is actually 165. Now, Ellie gives 3 over 11 of his share to charity. Beta gives 0.232 to charity. Work out the total amount Ellie and Beta give to charity. So now in their contribution towards charity is going to be, for Ellie, that's going to be 3 over 11 times 110. Then we shall now add what Beta contribute, which is basically 0.32 times is the amount here, which is the 165 amount, sorry. So we are going now to work out that in our calculator to ensure that we are going to get what the answer should be. So in that case, we're going to say 3 over 11 times 110. You get 30. So this is 30 plus 0.32 times 165, and that is going to be 52.8. So that is, if you add the two, you're going to get the total value being equivalent to 82.8 as the final answer in that case. So guys, you need to be prepared. You need to be ready for this coming exam. And if you are new to ProfLearn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to be uploading more tutorials, you'll be notified. Also, in this question, we're told that the weight of a bag apple is 475. So in this case, we are told this amount is 475 grams. Correct to the nearest gram. Correct to the nearest gram. So which means that if you are told correct to the nearest gram, then what you are going to add or minus is 1 gram divided by 1 gram divided by 0 divided by 2. So this is going to be plus or minus 0.5. So that whatever value you are told to the nearest to, that's the one that you're going to take and divide that value by 2, and then that's going to be 475 minus, for you to get the lower bound, you are going to say minus 0.0, sorry, this is basically 0.5 here. I think I'd written, the pen jumped, so we have 0.5 there. So lower bound is going to be 475 minus 0.5, and that is going to be 474.5 474.5 grams. The height of a box is 120. Correct to the nearest 10 centimeter. So we shall take this value here, 10 centimeter, divide by 2, and that's going to be plus or minus 5. So we shall say for the length plus or minus 5, and write down the upper bound of the height. So this is going to be 120 plus 5, and that's going to be 125 centimeters. And that's what you're expected to do whenever you're going to be asked a question like that. All right, now matters indices, you need to understand a few rules for indices. If you're having a raised to power m times a raised to power n, then this one is going to reduce to a m plus n. But if they are divided, a raised to power m divided by a raised to power n, you need to remember that it's a m minus n. You are going to subtract the powers. But if you have a raised to power n like that, you are going to say this is going to be a m times n. And also now, don't forget, if you are having a negative power, for instance, a raised to power negative b, that means this can be written as 1 over a raised to power b. Those are the basic rules that you have to remember in this case. But now here, and also another concept they like testing is if you are having a number raised to power 0, always remember that is actually 1. So whenever they're going to give you questions related to that, I'll be very sure to answer them. Now here we are having 8 raised to power minus 2 times 8 power 8 power 9. So this is going to be 8 raised to power negative 2 plus 9 over 8 raised to power 10 is equals to 8 raised to power n. Then this is going to be 7. So we shall have 8 raised to power 7 divided by 8 raised to power 10 is equals to 8 raised to power n. So here you are going to subtract the powers because of this division sign, and that's going to be 8 raised to power minus 3 is equals to 8 raised to power n. And since the bases are the same, then the power should be the same also, and our n therefore is going to be minus 3. And now that becomes our final answer for this particular question. So if you're going to be given a question to do with simplifying like this one already I've mentioned from the previous section, that if they're going to give you any number raised to power 0, that number is going to be 1. Any number whatsoever raised to power 0 is going to be 1. So this is a very common question that you're going to be asked. Then here you are going to put the like terms together. So we shall have 5. Okay, I'll take the inequality. Okay, I'll take 1 on this side, and on this side and I'll take this 5 on this side also. Then we end up having what? We shall end up having 20 minus 1 is less than 7y minus 5y. And if you work it out, you're going to realize that it's going to be 19 is less than 2y. And then if you work it out, it will be y is greater than 9.5 as our final answer like that. If you are told to simplify such an expression, or to factorize, so something that you really need to remember here is that you are going to look at terms which are common inside. Here in 5 and 15 and 25, we have 5 being common. W power 2, W power 3, we take W power 2 out, and the X power 5 and the X power 2, we take the smaller power, so that we shall have X power 2. Then inside the bracket, what do we need to multiply by 5 to get 15? We need to multiply by 3. And what do we need to multiply by W power 2 to get W power 2 here? We are going to multiply nothing. So, but X, we are going to have X power 3. So that X power 2 times X power 3 will give us X power 5, that is there. And then plus 5 times what to give us 25, that's going to be 5. And W will be 1, and we are done with that particular expression. So basically that's what we are going to do. And for this part that we have here, 12 can go here once, can go here 3 times. And a will cancel with a power 2, a power 5. So we are going to remain with a power 3 at the top. And this is c power 3 will cancel with this, will remain with c power 4. So the final expression is going to be 3 a power 3 c power 4 as the final answer. So those are the kind of questions that will never miss in paper 1. You'll be given questions that are related to that. And guys, if you're new to ProfLearn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that when I'll be uploading more tutorials, you'll be notified. See you in the next tutorial. Okay, in this question here, we are told that is a right angle triangle, and then work out the angle ACD. ACD. So we are going to work out the size of this particular angle at this point. That's the angle we are working out. The first thing that I think we need to do in this particular question is to put our mind together and then look at try to check out. Let me see which color I'm not really using mostly here. I'll not be using this most of the time. So, all right. So I'll use Pythagoras theorem for I to find what this length is from here to here. So, but I'll have to find the entire length using Pythagoras theorem. So from A to B. So we're going to say AB squared is going to be equals to 21 squared and minus 15 squared. So for me to find AB, I'm going to say it will be 21 squared minus 15 squared. So if I work it out, let me see what is going to give me. Square root of 21 squared minus 15 squared, and that's going to give me 6. All right. 6 root 6, 6 root 6, which is approximately 14.69, which is 14.69 centimeters. So if I subtract 9 from there, 14.69 minus 9, I'm going to get 5.69. This value that we have here is 5.69 from here to this point. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at it. If I want to find this angle that we have here, this angle here, I can find the entire of this angle. Yeah, I can find the whole of that angle. And I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA so that I can find it. So I'll say tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be opposite is 14.6 divided by adjacent, which is 15. And then this implies that theta is going to be tan inverse of 14.6 divided by 15. And if I work it out, and you have to ensure that your calculator is in degrees, because like mine was in radians. So I have to change that tan inverse of 14.69 of this value that I'm having here, 15. That angle is basically 44.4 degrees. This angle is 44.4 degrees. The whole of this angle is 44.4 degrees. Now, once I've gotten that angle, the next thing I'll do is to find this angle down here. This angle down here. And for me to find that angle also, it will be opposite over adjacent. So that will be, I'll call this angle beta. I'll call angle beta here. I'll call this angle beta. So we are going to say tan beta is going to be opposite, which is 9/15. And if I want to find angle beta, it will be tan inverse of 9/15. So if I work it out, what does it give me? This is going to be tan inverse of 9/15, and that's going to translate to 31. That is basically 31.0 degrees. So if I have these two angles, for me to find this angle that is remaining up here, what I'll do, I'll take 44.4 minus 31. 44.4 minus 31, and that is going to translate to 13.13. Our angle ACD is going to be 13.4 degrees as the final answer in that particular case. So you need to be aware of how to work out questions like that. And here we are given a diagram shows a regular polygon. So this is a regular polygon that is given here, and we have two exterior, one interior and exterior angle at that particular point. We are supposed to find the value of all the number of sides in that case. So if you are given a question like that, what you are supposed to do is to remember that this interior angle plus the exterior angle that we are having here, they form 180 degrees. They form a straight line. So meaning that if we have that, we can say 9x plus 27 plus 2x minus 23 should be equals to 180 degrees. So that we are going to have 11x plus 4 is equals to 180. So 11x is equals to 180 minus 4, and that is going to translate to 11x is equals to what? 176. So if we just take 176 divided by 11, you are divided by 11, you are going to get your x being equals to 16. So that is the value of x. But for you to find the number of sides, something that you need to have in mind is that a number of sides is equals to 360. You divide by what? You divide by exterior angle. Yeah, so 360 divided by exterior angle is the formula you'll use to find number of sides. So in that case, we are going to say now this is going, our exterior angle is going to be 16 times 2, which is 16 times 2 minus 23, and that is going to be basically 32 minus 23, which is going to be 9 degrees. So for us to find the number of sides, it will be 360. We divide by 9, and if you work it out, 360 divided by 9, we're going to get 40 sides. 40 sides. Write in the comment section what's the name of the polygon with 40 sides. Guys, I'll be very happy to read your comments down in the description down below, so that I can be able to know, have you benefited from this particular tutorial? Will you like me to create a live stream before you do your exam on this coming week? If you are new here, consider subscribing so that in time I'm going to do more tutorials, you'll be notified. Guys, see you in the next video, and I wish you all the best. Don't forget to share my channel to your friend, and also
Welcome to our tutorial of ProfLearn YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to have these predicted concepts for Igcse Edexcel Math Paper 1. So we're going to look at the area of sectors and the question that you may be asked to work out as far as area of sectors is concerned. So let's dive in so that we can be able to get started and see how you're supposed to approach questions. So you may be told to find the area and perimeter of sectors and areas of circles at that given point. For instance, this particular question here, we are told that find the area of a circle. Now in this case here, we are given the circle of diameter 14, so which means that we need to find the radius of that circle, and the radius is going to be 7, and then you can use now the formula pi r squared so that we can be able to get our area being equivalent to 153 centimeter squares, and this correct to 3 significant figures. So what you have to ensure anytime you are going to be given a question, remember to give it to the accuracy that you are supposed to give in that particular exam. Question number 9, question number 2, I want you to try it out. If you are given the radius 9, so you see now this one we're not going to find diameter, radius, now we're given radius direct. We're going to use 9 the way it is, so we're going to say this is the radius 9, so meaning that we're going to say that's it 1 pi, and to 3 significant figures we can be able to say this is going to be 254 centimeters squared. We substitute it there, and now proceeding and changing the gear to sectors. You may be given a sector like this and you are told to find the area of the sector. So something that you need to remember, area of a sector is given by theta times pi r squared. So our theta is the angle that is given here, 140, times pi times 16 squared, which is the radius. And if we put this in our calculator, let's see what it's going to give us. That is 312 centimeters square. We transfer it here. Now, another year student were asked to work out the question that looks like this. And the shaded region was given as 80 centimeters square. The area of the shaded part was given by 80 centimeters square. So meaning, for you to work out this, you are first to say let the sides of the square be x, so that the diameter also is going to be x, which implies that the radius is going to be x over 2, the radius of the circle. Then we can be able to find now area of the square is going to be x times x, which is x squared, and area of the circle is going to be pi r squared, which is going to be pi over x over 2 squared. This is going to translate to pi x squared over 4. Then now proceeding to the next bit, let me just transfer it down here. Yeah, so if we subtract these two areas, area of a square and area of the circle, we're going to get the area of the shaded region, which is equivalent to 80 centimeters square. Sorry. Then we can now factor x squared out so that I can be able to divide both sides what's inside the bracket. And if I simplify that, I'm going to get x squared is equals to that. If I simplify it, welcome to our tutorial of ProfLearn. This multiply each of them into the second bracket, and then you should put also the like terms together, and if you work it out, you are going to get your answer as x squared. So let's get started and get to see what are the main questions that you have to prepare as far as May-June exam is concerned. Now, looking into that, what you need to remember is that this is paper 1AH of Edexcel paper 1. This paper is usually 100 marks. So let's see what are the main key areas that you really ought to prepare. For instance, you have to know how to work out questions to do with indices, because a question must be set from there. Indices and simplifying expression. For instance, this one you can be able to see when two variables of the same base having different powers and they are divided, then you are going to subtract the powers like that, and our answer is going to be 9 minus 5, which is going to be 4. But if you have a bracket like y squared into bracket raised to power 8, you are going to multiply the powers in such kind of case. And you may be asked question to do with expansion. For you to expand this, you have the two terms in the first bracket. You are going to multiply each of them into the second bracket, and then you should put also the like terms together. And if you work it out, you are going to get your answer as x squared plus 7x minus 18 as our final answer in that particular case. So you will also be given question to do with factorization, and what you need to remember here is that you need to check which is the common term that is appearing in the two terms there. So here we are going to factor out 4cp squared, and then we are going to remain with that inside the bracket, and that becomes the factorized form of the expression. So let's move up so that we can be able to check what are other questions that you can be given. Other questions that you can be also be tested is questions to do with solving equations. And if you are told to solve equations, the first thing that you need to do here is try to expand and put the like terms together. Here we are given 5 into 4 minus x is equal to 7 minus 3x. So we need to purpose to expand the bracket that we have here, because 5 is going to be multiplied by 4, that's 20. 5 times minus x will be minus 5x, and 7 minus 3x. Then we put the like terms together, which is going to translate to 13 is equal to 2x. Then we shall divide by 2 both sides. And if you divide by 2 both sides, what do you get? What are you going to get? That is 13 divided by 2. You are going to get 6.5 as our final answer at that point. Moving to question part B, this is actually factorization as well. Of course, we have already done, you just identify the common term and then you factor it out. And you check what can you multiply with what's outside the bracket to get the term that we have here. If you have 4m squared g power 3, what do you multiply it to get 16m cubed g power 3? So you can see is 4m, and that is exactly what we need to transfer here so that we can be able to make the examiner happy. If you are new here, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload more tutorials, you'll be notified. Let's move to the second part of factorization of quadratics, and then using that factorized form for you to find the solution. Now, we are going to find two numbers whose sum is -2, but the product is -48. The two numbers are 6 and -8. Then we are going to express -2y in terms of the two numbers that we have mentioned here, which are 6 and -8. And that's going to be y squared minus 8y plus 6y minus 48 is equal to 0. Then we're going to group these two together. We factorize, we factor out what's common, and that's going to be in the first bracket we shall factor out y, we remain with y minus 8. In the second bracket we're going to factor out 6, we remain with y minus 8. Then we can see now we can write this as 6 plus y plus 6 rather, into y minus 8, and this is now the factorized form of the expression. Now, once you have gotten this one, for you to solve from and 3, you are going to take the factorized form that we have gotten up here so that we can be able to equate that to 0. Then we are going to say that y, if these two y plus 6 and y minus 8 equals to 0, then it means that any of them is equals to 0. Then now we can be able to take 6 on the other side and 8 on the other side. We shall have our solution as y is 8 minus 6, or y is equals to that. And we are having also algebraic fractions. Of course, we need to find the LCM for this. And we check how many times does LCM goes to the how many times does 3 goes to 12? 4 times. So you multiply what's at the top of that by 4. And how many times does 4 goes to 12? 3 times. You multiply 3 into 2a plus 5 is equals to 23. Then you can multiply 12 both sides so that we can be able to put the like terms together here. We get rid of the fractions. Then we solve for the value of a. Yeah, I think this is not clear in terms of the question, but I'm going to make the adjustment on the terms of the setting so that you can be able to see the questions properly. So a translate to be 18.5. Let me just move this a little bit up. Yeah, so let me move this a little bit up so that, yeah, you can be able to see. Okay, let me just move this up so that you can be able to see. Yeah, so 259 divided by 14 is going to be 18.5. That's 18. 18.5. I believe it's a bit clear there. So which means that if I need to adjust this, you can be able to see it clearly. You can be able to see it? Yeah, so you can be able to see that. All right, so let's proceed. Do the next question. All right, I think I need to, yeah. So if you are having root y over 3 into bracket raised to power negative 1, and we are supposed to write this in the form c raised to power n, where c and n are numbers to be found. The reciprocal will bring 3 up, and we shall have now minus a half, y raised to power minus a half, 3 raised to power negative 1. So 3 will come up, and we end up having 3y raised to power negative 2 as the final answer at that given point. The way it has been shown here, you can see the way it has been shown here. Yeah, so that's what the answer is going to be. Okay. Right, so moving to this question, I think these settings are not okay. We shall have that. Yeah, that's better now. We can be able to see everything clear in this particular video. We're moving to question 4, and here we are talking about area of a sector. And whenever you're finding area of the sector, you are going to use the formula theta over 360 pi r squared. Our theta is 110 over 360, and the radius was 7.1. So we square that. If you work it out, let's check. What do you get? What do you get here? 48.4, correct, to 1 decimal place. So what you need to ensure that when you are going to be doing this exam, remember to be checking the accuracy to which the answer is expected to be left. So if a question is telling you to 1 decimal place, please stick to that. An arithmetic series has first term A and a common difference D. The sum of the first 30 terms of the series is 4395. And the sum of the 10th term and the 20th term is 284. Work out the sum of the first 55 times of this arithmetic series. So which means that we have to find the first term, and we know the common difference for us to proceed in this particular path. So we are going to write the formula for nth term. Nth term is first term plus n minus 1 into d. That is the formula for the first term of an arithmetic series. Also, you have to remember sum of n terms is going to be n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Formula, standard formula for sum of AP or arithmetic series. Now, using the information that we were given, the sum of the first 30 terms is 4395. So meaning that we can be able to say 4395 is equals to 30 over 2 into 2a into 29, because 30 minus 1 is 29 times d. That is going to be our first equation, which we are going to simplify here. Now, once we simplify everything, we're going to form our equation number 1. I'm going to move that so that you can be able to see that particular equation. Then we're moving to the second part. We're told sum of the 10th and the 20th term. So meaning we're going to use the first formula I had written here so that we know what's the 10th term. And also we find what's the 20th term. Now, once we have done that, we are going to add the two. But adding the two 10th and the 20th term, we're going to get 284. So this is going to be, if we add this, the 10th term is going to be a plus 9d, and the 20th term is going to be a plus 19d. So if we add the two, we are going to have what we call the second particular equation. So having said all that, and having that we have the second equation here, then we are going to solve the two equations simultaneously. The first equation was 2a plus 29d is equals to 293, and the second equation is 2a plus 28d is equals to 284. So which means we are going to subtract the two equations. Our common difference d is going to be 9. Then we are going to go ahead using the first equation. Then we can be able now to find the first term. Now substituting into the first equation, putting the like terms together and dividing by 2 both sides, we are going to get our answer a to be 16. So the first term, now in this case we can be able to see that the first term is 16 and the common difference is 9. Now once we have this, we can be able to proceed and work out the sum of the first 45 terms. So it will be 45 over 2 into 2 times 16 plus n, which is 45 minus 1, which will be 44, times the common difference, which is the common difference which we have gotten to be what? 9. So if you work it out, the answer or final value will be 9630. 9630 is the sum of all the terms. The sum of the 45 terms will be 9630. And now we can be able to move to the next question. Another question that you must be tested is the question to do with finding upper and the lower bound whenever you are given a formula. So whenever you are given a formula and then you are supposed to find the upper bound, and you can see here we are given a minus v, a equals to v minus u over t. So for us to find the upper bound of a, we're going to say this is going to be v upper bound minus u lower bound over t lower bound, so that we can be able to get the upper bound. But I need to change this. Okay, yeah, this okay. So if we substitute everything that we have into the formula, the upper bound of v is going to be 9.65. Lower bound of u is going to be 3.75. And the upper bound of t is going to be 835. So if you work it out, you are going to get your answer being equivalent to 3.22. So for sure, we must have a question from upper bounds. And another question that you can be asked also is a question to do with circle theorem. And here we're having angles in alternate segments. So angles in alternate segments are equal. So this angle alternate with that. And also we can be able to draw a straight line. We can be able to draw a line joining from B to D. Yeah, we can be able to join a line running from B to D, so that we can be able to see how do we find that. If we join a line here, we are going to have also angles in alternate segments. So this angle 71 degrees is going to be equals to this. But also we were told that isosceles triangle, then both angles will be equal, this 71. Then we can be able to use this 71 and 71 at B and D in order for us to try to work out what is angle A. So angle A in our case is going to be what? Our angle A is going to be, because angles in a triangle add up to 180, so this is going to be approximately 38. Yeah, it will be 38 degrees. And then we're going to use now angles, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180 as well. So we shall have this as 142 degrees. This angle here, this angle is 142 degrees. And the concept we are using at this point is angles, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. I think it's getting okay. Let's continue with up to where we left, so that we can be able to have a continuation of this particular tutorial. Now, in question number 8, you may be told to work out or express a quadratic equation or expression in the form like this. Basically, this is completing the square. So completing the square is an area that you might be expected to answer a question from. And in the event you're given a question like that, you need to remember that what you need to do is to factorize the first two expressions. Let's move it down. Yeah, so we factor out 2 from the first two terms, and factorizing the first two terms, we shall have x squared minus 11 over 2x. So which means that we can be able to find a half of this particular number, 11 over 2. You find a half of that number, and a half of 11 over 2 is going to become 11 over 4. So we're going to write x minus 11 over 4 into bracket squared. Then we subtract the square of 11 over 4. Always, even if the number inside is a positive or a negative, always you subtract the square of the number that is inside. So we shall have subtract 11 over 4 squared, and then we shall say plus 9. Now, we are going to open the bracket, and then we shall have 2 times the square of 11 over 4. Then we shall add 9 there. Of course, simplifying this expression is going to become this. This is going to be 121 over 16, but times 2 is going to be, because 16, 2 divided by 16 will be 8, then plus 9. So upon adding 9 minus 121 over 8, this is simplified to 49 over what? This is be minus, no, minus, it's a minus, so minus 49 out of 8. So which means our A is 2, our B is negative 11 over 4, and our C is negative, actually 49 over 8. 49 over 8. So that is how you complete a square. In the event you are given a question like this, you can be able to complete the square and get the answer. You can be also asked to state the turning point from this completed square form. And something that you need to remember, for you to state the turning point or the minimum or maximum point after completing the square, the term which is here, 11 over 4, inside the bracket is going to give us the x coordinate. And negative 49 over 8 is going to give us the y coordinate of that turning point. So if we are writing the minimum point, we shall say 11 over 4 minus 49 over 8. Always you take the opposite side of the value that is inside the bracket. If it was positive, you take negative. Now, like for instance, it was negative 11 over 4, you have to take a positive value. All right, so we can move to the next question so that we can be able to see what are the most important areas that you have to prepare as far as GCSE Edexcel is concerned. We have a question here whereby we are told that Kazi buys a car for a value of 700,000 taka. The value of the car depreciates by 12% each year. And we're supposed to work out the value of the car at the end of 3 years. And in here, we're going to use the formula amount is equals to P into 1 minus R over 100 raised to power N. But if the value was increasing, if the value was appreciating, we could have said 1 plus R over 100 raised to power N. P is the value of the car, and N is the period, R is the rate at which the value is depreciating. And this is going to be 1 minus 12 over 100 raised to power 3 because we are told of 3 years. Then we can be able to simplify what is inside the bracket, and then we shall work out. We're going to get our final answer becoming, just let's put it in the calculator so that we can be able to see what it's going to give us. We shall put this into the calculator. We see what does it give us. So just also put in the calc. This is going to be 700,000 times 0.88 raised to power 3. This is what I've placed inside the calculator. Can you see that? Then equal sign. This is going to translate to 47, 70, 30.4. Yeah, so we can be able to put that in, and that is exactly what we're going to get as 47, 70, 30 takas. So if you're going to be given a question with depreciation, this is how to work it out. If you're going to be given a question with appreciation, remember you are going to use plus for appreciation. All right, moving to question number 10. In question number 10, in this coming exam, either you'll be given a question that you are required to use cosine rule or sine rule. So in order to work out this, we are going to find PR, and the side that is opposite to Q is small q, side that is opposite to P is small p, and the side that is opposite to R is small r. Then we can be able now to write cosine rule, and we are saying, since we are finding Q, it will be Q squared is equals to P squared plus R squared minus 2PR cos of this particular angle that we have here. So that is cos theta. Then we can be able to substitute what we have here, the values. Ensure that you carefully substitute the values in. Let me just move this so that I can be able to have quite enough space to write. Yes, guys, I'm having some cold, but I said we have to do this video so that you can be able to prepare. But I believe I'll be fine. Let me just get some hot water here. Guys, if you're new here, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to do more tutorials, you'll be notified. Just subscribe, like this video, and also you can be able to share it to your friends. Yeah, let me just have some hot water as you're subscribing. And let me get to know in the description, comment if you were watching this section when I was taking water, hot water, for my voice to come out properly. I believe you are getting help from this particular video. It's helpful. Guys, please consider sharing this channel to your friends. Let's move it here so that we can have all the displayed values here. Now let's continue. If we put everything in the calculator so that we can be able to find the value of Q, remember this Q squared is going to be equals to 251.06. Then we find the square root both sides. Q translate to 15.8. Q translate to 15.8. Now we move to question number 11. This is a probability, and this question was a bit tricky, and it's quite tricky for most students, but I want to explain it in a very simplified way. We are told a box contains 20 counters. If you understand how I'm going to work out this question, if by the end of this question you understood how you should be working out this question, just leave a comment in this, leave a comment below so that I can know that you really understood, because I'm going to break it so that it's easier to understand how to go about it. Now we are told a box contains 20 counters. 9 of the counters are red, 7 of the counters are yellow, and 4 of the counters are green. Alex takes at random 3 counters from the box and work out. Now you are supposed to work out the probability that exactly 2 of the 3 counters are of the same color. 2 of the 3 counters, when it's picking, 2 of the can pick red, pick yellow, again pick red. Okay, or pick red, pick non-red color, or pick non-red color, pick red, and again picking red. So let's see how. Now we shall start by picking the probability for picking red. Probability for picking red, for 2 must be of the same color. So probability of picking red, 2 are red, and 1 non-red. So this is what we're going to do.